All right. Good afternoon. This is the Committee on Administration for the County of Dunn. We are meeting here today, room 54 in the County Administration and Government Center. We have our first item on our agenda today is a call to order. And so we're doing that. Call the roll. Let it show that all the committee members are here and present, along with staff who are also attending. Approval of the minutes, there's our next item. Our last meeting took place September 20th, and we also had one the 28th, which was a review of audit. Anyone care to make a motion on those minutes?
You want to do both?
You sure can.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept both
Okay.
as written.
All right. Supervisor Bauer
Second.
makes motions, seconded by Supervisor Zons. Any corrections along the way by anyone? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed? Any opposed? Thank you. Public comment. Do we have any public comment that has came through? I have none. All right. We'll move right on to item 5 on our agenda, and we have staff reports, which come to us as committee members each week from our various staff that report to this committee. And first is administration. Administrator Corpola, do you have anything for us besides your report?
Nothing in addition to the report.
Okay. Any questions for Chris? All right. Thank you, Chris. Human resources, Jenna. You want to, anything at this point you want to? All right. Anything? All right. Yeah. No, none. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Criminal Justice Collaboration Division is not here. Is she online?
Yes, I'm online. Nothing further to add. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. How about any questions by any of the committee members? All right. All right, we're good to go with that.
Can I just add one thing about Sarah?
Yes, please.
So I think it's gone a bit understated because it kind of gets broken up between a number of years, but Sarah just assisted the Department of Human Services again in writing for a large federal grant for some additional resources for the Family Treatment Court. And it is, by the time all is said is done, it'll be up $1 million over the next 3 years. So wow. Sarah is our definite fundraiser.
Well, here. Sarah, from the behalf of the committee, thank you very much. There's a certain talent in that. There certainly is. I know some people who professionally, that's all they do. And so glad we have you, and thanks for those extra efforts that you put forward. Certainly appreciated.
Thank you.
Treasurer's report. Anything from the treasurer or anything that we need to highlight or questions about her report?
She's at a conference.
Okay, well then we'll.
I do have, may I,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair? All right. On the, I talked about, that's a question last meeting about some of those long-term investments. They're coming due in December. Are we just going to reinvest? Is that what we do with these? Where do these funds go? And what are they, and actually, what are they for?
They are part of our longer term investments. So they are really just, so when we talk about the general fund, obviously we don't, on the countywide basis, we don't need to have all of that money immediately available to us at the drop of a hat.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's okay to invest it and earn a higher rate of interest over a little bit longer term investment. These didn't happen to be particularly long. They were only a year for those CDs. Yeah, absent us having a need for them or an anticipated need over the next year, she will just turn around and our new
Right.
So if we can't balance our budget, could we use some of this money for that?
Well, and you would, in a sense, although we wouldn't have to cash those in order to be able to do that. So they become part of that. If you think about us having about roughly $19 million of fund balance, and we have about 14 million of it available to us, those represent only about 7 or 8 million of that. So we have liquidity to be able to use fund balance in another way and not have to cash those in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, sounds good. Move on to IT. And we have our director here. Any questions about IT's report or anything you want to highlight? Okay, questions for IT? All right, thank you. Sure. All right. We're awful easy on you guys, remember that.
We're not to the vouchers yet, Tim.
Yeah, right. All right, and county clerk, his report was included. Any questions about the clerk's report? Later on, we've got a budget adjustment to do for that, some special training budget that was,
And I thought we
Or-
might see him from Parts Unknown. He showed up for a meeting yesterday from Greece. But yes, he's on vacation as well.
Yeah. He's probably found someplace better to be. But anyway, again, we had a good report from him. All right. So that takes us through our departments that we hear from on a monthly basis. And without anybody's objection, if you look at your agenda, there are two resolutions in 7.1, 2, 3, and 4. And we'd have requests from Jenna, our personnel director, to move 3 and 4 up to this point in the agenda. Is there any objection to doing that? All right, Jenna, if you'd like to fill us in on those, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have to go be mom after this, so I really do appreciate it. Okay, so I just wanted to start by kind of verbally going through the draft resolution for the 2024 pay grid. So hopefully this isn't a surprise to you. This is just a resolution to go along with the draft budget in November as part of the recommendation and what's built into the budget of the 2% increase. A few months ago at the board meeting, I did share results of our market analysis study that was conducted, and 2% to 4% was the recommendation in order to keep our pay grids competitive. So we are, as part of the budget, proposing a 2%, and this resolution and the subsequent pay grids that are attached are consistent with that request. So would request support from the committee to forward the resolution to the county board. Are there any questions?
Just one question, Jenna. Didn't we already do this?
We didn't, no.
Oh, okay.
No, no, so this is, we've built the 2% recommendation into the numbers, the personnel numbers that were built into each budget. But each year we do push a resolution through to adopt the actual pay grid itself.
Okay,
So that it's
we talked about.
it's
it.
essentially kind of housekeeping to go along with the 2024 budget.
Okay. I just, we talk about it so much and I kind of thought, well, didn't we already do this? So
Sure, sure. Yeah, and I did share the market analysis results kind of early on just to provide that information and not at the last minute, right? Just in case you had any other routes that you wanted us to take. But this is consistent with what we have been presenting the last couple of months as part of the budget.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next resolution is kind of on a similar string. As part of the budget request or the draft budget for 2024, there are two new positions included that don't currently exist on our inventory of job classifications. And the first one being an engineering technician in the highway department. This position would be performing skilled technical work, supporting the assistant highway director and the highway director in accomplishing those more administrative tasks that go along with engineering projects, and also, working in the CAD system, helping to draft those projects and things like that. I don't think it's a surprise that there are lots of projects on the horizon for the highway. So the increase in volume results in the increase in work. And I understand from the highway commissioner that the paperwork piece, the administrative piece has increased greatly over the last couple of years, just with new requirements and things like that. So in order to add this position truly, we need to include it in our inventory of job classifications. So this resolution is requesting to do that. And secondly, our HR division has requested a position that would be dedicated to training and development of the county. We have talked about this a couple of times as well. Would be focused on developing our management positions specifically in the county, as well as helping to drive forward our education on healthcare consumerism and things of that nature. So again, two positions that are included in the draft 2024 budget have been discussed and reviewed at prior meetings. Just need to have them on our inventory in order to truly fill those should the budget get approved next month.
And if you recall, this came up before, and then we took it to the executive committee for review. And remember, there was more requests for more staff than this. These are the two that came out of the executive committee back to us as what they felt had justification for this year's budget and for the need. And so it's up to us to decide whether or not we want to pass this on to the board at our next meeting, because it's part of the new budget. So that's where we're at.
And if I
Thank
can
you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if you were going
Yeah.
to say
I
something.
just wanted to add, these are just the two that don't already exist in our structure. So there are still a handful of others that are included within the budget request as far as adding positions. These are just the two new titles that we don't already have, if that makes sense.
Yeah, my question was that you're going to put them on your grid or whatever, for your pay grid. And if the executive committee in their next meeting takes them back off, they're just going to be empty, open positions. What happens then? I mean,
Uh,
if they don't, because the final budget has not been done yet. And it could get canceled. You don't know, I hope not, but I mean,
mhm.
things could happen. Then what happens?
Yeah, so I would say if the, if there's action by the executive committee to not pass along the new position recommendation to the board, that we would remove the resolution from the agenda as part of the executive committee's ability to set that agenda. Is that consistent with
It's,
how that would go?
it's definitely one possible outcome. This does not create this does not fund the position. All it does is creates a shell within our hierarchy of different classifications for someone to come into that. So it's evaluated in terms of what compensation uh, should be, where it fits into the grid. It doesn't hire the person. It doesn't authorize hiring the person. It just creates the job classification. And so it really would depend on whether or not the intent is to, maybe if it's something that there's interest in from administration to pursue still after, maybe it would be worthwhile to maintain it as a potential classification that could be used at some point in the future, or it could simply be extinguished or withdrawn. But this doesn't fund the position. It doesn't hire anybody. It doesn't authorize the hiring of anybody. It just creates a classification within our grid that can be utilized, and it makes it possible to evaluate in advance
Mhm.
what the compensation for the position should be.
I will add to that, you might kind of wonder, why is it coming now when the budget hasn't been approved yet? But because there's not a board meeting in December typically, um, we're sending it through now so that if, potentially the budget gets approved and this is approved as well, we would be able to hire as soon as January 1, or start their recruitment as soon as January 1. Since if the funding was approved for that, so that would obviously be the budget piece of that.
That's kind of what I thought would be, it would just be an open position if it didn't get filled until maybe next budget,
Yeah, I see what you're
Yeah,
asking.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe not even a position because it wouldn't be funded. It would just be on our pay grid. We'd still have to request how to fund that and create the actual FTE, but like could be a result, like Nick was saying. Yep, thank you.
Possibility. Put it on the pay grid and say assign funding for them. All in favor? Aye.
I don't have anything to add. Thank you again for making the adjustment on the agenda. I appreciate it.
Oh. Okay.
Here we go. We've got to get to, on the sheriff's patrol, section 270. I see, blood tests for $462 to Mayo Clinic Health System. And my question is that who are they for? Is it for employees or for people who were pulled over? And how many tests are done for $462?
I don't know, but I will check.
Okay. All right, and then on the same page, I'm seeing expenses, operating supplies, and firing range maintenance. A cost for 7185 and 5117 to the Uline Incorporated. And I am not happy with the Uline Corporation and how they've treated the state of Wisconsin. And so I'd like to see if we can put that out for different bids in the future rather than using that company.
My guess is that it isn't because of the cost of the items. It's not a matter of something subject to bids. It could be on the open market because of the low cost of the items. And it's probably just was the lowest cost of the items. But I can certainly pass on your sentiment about
Uline?
Uline. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. All right. And next one is 1410 Fair Administration, that area. I see that we have $1,584 for land rental. And I'm going, land rental for what at the fair? We own the property. So just kind of big question mark there.
Well, even more interesting is that it's played to Dawes Rigging and Crane Rental. So my guess is it's really not land rental, that it got classified as land rental, but it sounds as if it might have been processes to maybe erect tents, or I don't know, something
Renting
else.
the crane itself?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'll check.
All right. And then workers' comp premium, $64,597. Is this annual or monthly?
Where are you? In which?
I am on 1920. Or quarterly or whatever it happens to be.
I would say that is, that is annual. It's 64,000.
Yeah, 64,597.
Yes, it's not a monthly payment. It's an annual payment, but it's interesting that it's sitting there. I'll double check for sure.
All right. And then on in section 2100, grounds, a $3,000 payment to Connie Curtis. Environmental Service Grants.
I see it.
And
I'll check.
you see it?
I do.
Okay, just don't know what that's all about. And on the back page, we have expenses for picking up garbage at the Boyceville shooting range and the Colfax shooting range. I kind of thought we were going to have the clubs take care of that on their own.
That is my understanding as well, but I'll check.
And I also see it on the Menominee shooting range too. Missed that one. Rather than the county picking it up.
Okay, I'll check.
That's it. I'm done.
That's not monthly, is it?
Huh?
Is that monthly?
Yeah,
Expensive.
yeah, that's what I kind of thought. Well,
They're
even
producing a lot of
though,
garbage out the range.
well, empties, shells, casing.
That's
boxes.
still,
Yeah,
Few old targets, but not much.
old targets, I suppose.
Yeah.
Tin can, bottle. Whatever you got.
mhm.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay, anything else? Anyone else? Okay, good, all right. Great, thank you very much. Okay, all in favor then of the budget, and I'm sure Chris will get back to us and answer the questions. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Our vouchers, I'm sorry. I meant that, vouchers. Still okay?
Yes.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes. Thank
We
you.
knew what you meant.
I know. But I said budget, and I thought, oh. Had a few people watching excited. Okay. We have a contingency request from the neighbors of Dunn County. This has to do with replacing the garage doors on one door on each of the three neighborhoods, and going from a basically what sounds like more of a home level quality of garage door to a commercial level of garage doors. Anyone have any questions about that? Or would you like to talk to our community mentor? She is here.
I had an opportunity to chit chat with Scott on facilities last night at that meeting regarding this. He just said, residential setup does not over time do well with repeated opening and closing, opening and closing. They look nice, they look residential, and we kind of want that look. But it's not a sustainable thing, and they've been putting Band-Aids, duct tape, everything to keep her going at this stage of the game. And I guess there was a pretty serious ding that kind of knocked one of them out of contention. And it's fix half of one or fix them all so they all match and solve a problem that's continuing and ongoing. So I'd like to recommend to the committee approve this withdrawal from the contingency fund to replace all of the associated doors.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I didn't really have a question. I did stop out and look at the doors myself. I had a good talk with Carmen and got a tour of the doors, and they are in bad shape. So I will second your motion to get all three doors replaced, because it is a safety hazard, so.
Okay. Then you'll make the motion, I'll second it. Well, I just made a recommendation.
I'll make the motion to replace option 3 of replacing all doors, because it is in the CIP for 2026, I remember. Is that right? So it'll just save us down the road. Prices will go up anyway, so it'll.
Yeah.
Second,
Oh, yeah.
all right. Motion by Supervisor Bauer, second by Supervisor Leno. Option 3, which they had developed 3 options for us as to what was needed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And so that is, somebody have that amount in front of them, $29,016. And that'll come from the contingency fund, be put into the neighbors fund so that they can purchase and get installed 3 new garage doors. Thank you. All right. Next, we have a budget adjustment request from the county clerk. That was part of his report. And if you look in there, it's, again, it's kind of money in, money out, but we have to approve it so that those funds can go from coming in on a grant and to pay for some training that was hours put in by our staff in the clerk's office. Anyone have any questions, or someone care to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve that budget adjustment for the clerk's office, right?
All right. Second to that?
Second,
Second?
who's got it? All right.
All right. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Next is resolution canceling checks over 2 years old. And if you look at this list, I don't think, I want to take another scan. I don't think there was anything over,
NSP had a pretty big check they didn't get. Cash, that's fun.
yeah, that's, they were on our list a couple years. I don't know what,
Fair price?
maybe it's something to do with,
Oh, that's a big, yeah.
I don't know any idea. I guess we don't have any idea because they didn't get, they were issued a check and they didn't cash it, so. Yeah. That seems,
Maybe a check got stuck in the shopper.
yeah, and it certainly didn't, no one ran off with it because it hasn't been cashed, so. Beyond that, anyone care to make motion that we, and what happens with this process, if you're not aware, is we cancel these checks so they come off as checks, you know, off the, I guess I want to say our bookwork type of situation. And if anyone would come forward down the road and say, hey, I didn't get a check for this, they would be reissued a check. So we're not refusing payment from this part forward. It's just, you know, we're sitting here and we're looking at our outstanding checks and this chance to just delete that list. But you know, we still assume the liability that it's still there. And like you were saying, I think a lot of them are fair prizes and somebody at our last meeting when we talked about it. Oh yeah, I've got one of those. So anyway,
26.
yeah,
About $3 to get it to you.
I know.
yeah. Anyone care to make motion that we move forward? All right, thank you Supervisor Bauer. Second. Supervisor Lino seconds. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. All right. So that got us down to actually next meeting date. And if you look on there, we got a to be determined because Chris or somebody noticed that the fourth Thursday is Thanksgiving.
I think I'd rather be here, maybe.
Here, let me see if you had the vaccine.
Got that scheduled after this meeting.
Um, any suggestions? We could move it to a different day. We could also do it on a contingency basis if there's nothing except for the vouchers that would need to be passed, we could, you know, we could put them off a month and bring them up again in December, or we could just, like I say, move it to a different day. All right.
Well,
Okay.
I just have a question in regards to that. Just wondering with the budget process on November here, is there anything in the budget process that we need to have a meeting prior to the budget meeting for the county board? That would have to come through admin?
No.
No? So, okay,
Unless we were gonna make a request of any of the reporting departments that they change their budget.
okay.
But that, we won't know that until we really get to that point where if people say, nope, no way, go back to drawing board. We wouldn't have much time, but we'd have to do it, but, otherwise, any day that week, is that listed on the calendar yet?
Before hunting season, preferably.
Um,
Would 1 week sooner be a problem? Thursday before?
Yeah, board would be after the board meeting, and that's early anyway, so, that'll be, is that the 17th, 16th? Okay,
There's another meeting in this room at 5, so if it got done before 5,
I think.
Lake District is meeting at 5.
Those are contingent.
No,
Yeah.
they're pretty mild mannered.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't,
Everybody's been minding their manners?
Well, they realize they're not up to anything nefarious.
Oh, I see.
anyone, is that a problem for anyone if we met on the 16th? for
That
this
would be
group?
fine for me.
Fine for me, 'cause then I'll just be in this.
All right.
I'll be in all night.
Chris and you guys are okay with that? Okay, 3 o'clock on the 16th? Okay, we'll do it, 3 o'clock on the 16th. Okay. We don't have anything on here for announcements, but anybody have anything that's like to pass on to the group?
There's gonna be some kind of record.
I have some sleuthing to report.
All right.
I can't answer all of your questions, but I have a couple left to look up, but one actually, the blood tests for patrol. But the land rental was not really land rental. It is a crane company and it was lift rental for the fair, you know, like the things.
Instead of land.
Yep, lift. So that was that cost. The workers' comp payment to Aegis was actually, so we are a self-funded workers' comp plan. And so that was actually payment for payments made by workers' comp to employees or
Okay.
or on behalf of employees. If that
Okay,
makes sense.
and Aegis managed that, correct?
Yes,
So it's not a.
it wasn't a premium
Not a regular thing.
So it's not a
No,
regular
it was-
payment that we're,
through September 20th, I believe.
okay. All right.
And then the payment of $3,000 to Connie Curtis she's a part of the nutrient management plan. And it was 75 acres times $10 times 4 years, whatever she got for that.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, so that's out of our answer farms, so to speak, I would assume. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Nothing back there? Okay, we're adjourned then. Record setting afternoon.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Dang it, I wish I made my vaccine appointment for 5.